Welcome back to Eye on South Asia. Sunil, shall we place that call now?
Yeah, we have Rakesh. Rakesh, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Hi Rakesh, thank you once again for coming on Eye on South Asia. We're talking about what Mr. Narayan Murthy said at the Global Pan IIT conference. He was very critical about the way today the IIT students are selected. What is your take on that?
Well, Sunil, I was on the steering committee of that conference and I attended Narayan Murthy's talk. Overall, I think he was concerned about the eroding IIT brand. So he talked about many subjects, including governance, research, the students, the coaching classes. But in terms of my thought, look, you can't argue with facts. The fact remains that when you go to an objective third party, for example, when you go to the top university rankings, today there is not a single Indian university, not even a single IIT, that ranks in the top 200 in the QS top university rankings. If you go just to the category of science and engineering, and let's say you pick computer science and engineering, my alma mater, IIT Delhi, got the best ranking, but its ranking was number 43.
And this is what a shame coming from when Bill Gates about a decade ago said that IITs are a combination of Princeton, MIT and Harvard.
That's what he said, and when you look at the early graduates that came out of the IITs and went on and became CEOs of major multinational companies, there was evidence to support that conclusion. But today, the objective criteria shows that their ranking globally is declining.
Now, you think it is due to what Mr. Murthy said? Is it because of the wrong criteria for selecting the exams, coaching, not enough research, or the people who are conducting the research not being focused? Or is it to do with the language process he was talking about, that English is not necessarily being given the right weight? What is the real reason in your mind?
Well, it's interesting. In my era, the competitive exam was held as a shining example of meritocracy. And people certainly did go to what I would call coaching classes to get polished, but that has completely changed. And today, the students who are getting into the IITs simply do not have the learning skill sets. They are great exam takers, but they really are not grounded in terms of their education, learning processes. And yes, I have to say that this political movement as to why do we need English and why do we need excellence in English, this is really going to take away a key strength, which was that the IITians were able to compete globally because of their mastery of English. That's what gave us an advantage over the Chinese and over other Asian alumni who were as bright, who would come into U.S. universities, but did not have the communication skills that we did.
Thank you, Rakesh, for confirming what Mr. Narayan Murthy said at the Global Pan IIT conference in New York, that essentially seems like manufactured students walking into an atmosphere where there is not enough research being created, not right scholars being provided, and language being curtailed to make them a global competitive professionals. Thank you very much for coming in to this show, Rakesh. We'll be back to you one of these days again. Thank you.
For focusing on the conference. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So Nitya, as you heard from Rakesh, who himself is a very globally respected, one of the first CEOs in America, and he is from, as he said, from IIT Delhi.
Right.
And he confirms what Mr. Narayan Murthy says. And I hope that, like he said, we are not even in 200 top institutions being an IIT is really a downgrade. We need to catch up. We need to build the brand India, brand IIT one more time. And at the same forum, we had our own Mr. Sam Pitroda,
Right.
Dr. Sam Pitroda, the really renowned technical guru and advisor to Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. He is just unbelievable personality. What he has done to India in last 30 years, and I know him because I was myself in IIT Roorkee at that time when he picked up the whole batch of our electrical engineering and when he formed CDOT. Let's do one thing. Let's talk to him directly and talk to what his thoughts were regarding the open bidding and the sourcing for what they call
Right.
The e-sourcing and a transparent process for getting e-procurement.
He has some very interesting thoughts on that. We should
Exactly.
definitely hear him.
Dr. Sam, you are welcome to our show. It's a weekly show called Eye on South Asia, and we welcome to our show. We wanted to discuss with you about your thoughts which you presented at the Global Pan IIT conference regarding the use of electronics and open transparent process for the e-procurement. What is e-procurement?
E-procurement is a software program that allows you to procure hardware, software, systems through electronics, tendering,
And
pricing, comparison, all of that. It's a standard tool.
so it's a very commonly used method in West or the developed countries?
Yeah, it's very commonly used.
Now you are probably the pioneer, and as I have maintained with you, if India were to look back at any point in life, whether it's today, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, and I personally remember when I was at IIT Roorkee, you picked up our whole batch of electrical engineering and built CDOT, if you recall, in 1984.
Yes, sir.
And honestly enough, we can't thank you enough for what direction you gave to India. If there was no communication, there would be no modern India today.
No, you are very generous.
No, I won't get into an argument. My thoughts will not change. So will never change of my generation and the generations behind us for what you did for us and for nothing, no personal gains. Going back to what you have proposed, are you driven by the fact with all the scams that have come out of 2G and you very successfully saw the deployment of this process to do the 3G procurement? Is it because of that?
No. I think the point is time has come. 2G, 3G is sort of, secondary issue. Government buys millions of things. So 2G, 3G is one transaction, two transactions, I think overall time has come for India to really move on to more electronics in the governance process. E-governance, e-file, e-tendering, e-payment, e-passport, e-driver's license is all going to be a way of life now.
Now, is it because of the efficiency or transparency issue?
No, because the technology has evolved to a point now, a lot of these things make sense. It's cost effective, it improves productivity, efficiency, and time is right because we have now a nation of connected billion. We have broadband connectivity, and over a period of time, it will improve substantially.
That will be very nice. I guess it will make us a global destination for bidders to come in through a very transparent and effective process. On the side note, you had presented a plan for BSNL to make it a more efficient organization, cutting down the flak, taking out the incapable people. Where is that proposal? It seems to be not cutting ice with the government.
No, I think the proposal is already with the government, and BSNL chairman is acting on it and working on it. I wish we had acted on it earlier. We lost a lot of time, and in the process, things got worse.
And you think it will be effected soon?
No, they are already working on it. Not that they have to take 100% of it, but There are about 15 items, and they'll take one by one and, get it implemented as much as they can.
Dr. Pitroda, India is today one of the most formidable nations with the youngest group of professionals. One single message you want to give it to the young India?
I think young India has to be ready to build new India. Young India needs to really acquire the kind of skills we would need in the 21st century. Young Indians need to really focus on creating opportunities, jobs, employment, prosperity in the 21st century to build their future. Only they can do it.
And you think
because they are the workforce for the world.
Certainly, it is the largest pool. Once again, thank you for coming on our show. We really appreciate your time and what you have done for the India. We are greatly obliged to you and will continue to look forward to your directions.
Thank you. And as I said, you are very generous. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. So, Nitya, that was Dr. Sam Pitroda, and honestly, this man has changed the direction of India for good, even though people attribute a lot of it to Dr. Manmohan Singh from 91 when the economy turned around. But real India turned around in 1982 when Sam Pitroda went from Chicago for, I think, ₹1 salary to India and worked with the then Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, and changed the shape of modern India where it is heading today.
Definitely. We've had the fortune of talking to some very august personalities, but once again, it's time for a short break. So hold that thought right there and don't go anywhere. Come right back.